appreciated, and we are so glad that you could be here with us today. We understand that your time is valuable, and we are grateful that you have chosen to spend it with us. We promise to make it worth your while by providing the valuable insight and sharing informative knowledge throughout the course of this international general lecture. Before we get started, I would like to go over some important rules for today's events. The first one, make sure your computer, laptop, or mobile device is connected to the internet. Second, the international seminar starts at 8 a.m. West Indonesian time. The participant must be present in the Zoom room before the appointed time. Third, the participant should use full name when joining a Zoom room, dress neatly, and turn on the video. Fourth, participants are requested not to activate the microphone feature or mute during the seminar activity lasts. 5. Participants are required to attend and fill the attendance link. The attendance link will be given on the Zoom chat box later. 6. During the seminars, participants will be given the opportunity to ask a question to the speakers and will be guided by the moderator by utilizing the raise hand feature or utilizing the Zoom chat box by mentioning name and the question. 7. The seminar material will be provided 30 minutes before the event starts or will be shared later through the chat box. And 8. For certificates, you're required to fill the link we provide, and we will send them no later than day plus 3 after the seminar takes place, and send them by email. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, these are just a few guidelines to ensure that everyone has a positive and productive seminar experience. Now let's get started with our agenda. Today's seminar topic revolves around sustainability accounting, integrating accounting into business sustainability. Throughout the seminar, we will be exploring the sustainability accounting and how to implement it into the business sustainability, and discussing of various strategies and solutions that can help business to maintain its sustainability. The reason why this seminar is so relevant and valuable for all of us here today is that the first, we can understand the link between accounting and sustainability. We can learn how accounting play a crucial role in tracking and reporting sustainable business practice. Second, it helps in making better decisions. We can discover how integrating sustainability accounting can improve strategic business decision. And we believe that by the end of this session, you will have a better understanding of sustainability accounting, and more importantly, you will gain actionable insight and takeaways that you can apply to your own business and your own projects. We absolutely cannot wait to dive deeper and explore this topic together. So without further ado, let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, now I will read out the agenda for our seminar today. The first is opening. The second agenda is singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. The third agenda is opening speech from Chairman ICMA. The fourth agenda is we are going to listen to ICMA profile reading. The fifth agenda is the main agenda is presenting material by the speaker, as well as discussion session and closing session. Okay, let's continue to our next agenda. Let us sing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. For the audience, we ask you to sit up straight while the anthem is playing. And for the operator, please kindly help to share the national anthem. Thank you.
Indonesia
Thank you for the operator. Next, let's hear the welcome speech from Mr. Raffles Ginting, S.A.M.Ak. As the chairman of ICMA, will be represented by Mr. Yanuar Nugroho, S.A.M.Sc. For Mr. Yanuar Nugroho, time is yours.
Ya, thank you, Mr. Teguh Prasetya. Baik, oke, ya, distinguished guest, Professor Dr. Susela Devi, ya, the Honorary Professor at University Selangor, and Executive Director at Change Enablement Network Solution HDN PhD. And then Miss Nadya Eka Putri as the moderator, and the also honorable guests, academicians, business practitioners, students, and all esteemed webinar participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and warm greeting to all of you who express our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing and mercy, allowing us to gather virtually today for the international seminar Sustainability Accounting, organized by ICMA in collaboration with various academic institutions and strategic partners. Before proceeding, I would like to extend the sincere apologies of the chairman of ICMA, Mr. Raffles Ginting, who is unable to attend today. As his representative, it is an honor for me to deliver this welcome address at such a significant event. And furthermore, I would like to take this opportunity to wish Ramadan Mubarak to all our participants who are observing the holy month of Ramadan. And today marks the first day of fasting, a time of reflection, devotion, and spiritual growth also maybe. And may this sacred month bring peace, blessing, and strengthen our commitment to knowledge sharing and meaningful discussion in this seminar. The theme of today's seminar, as Mr. Teguh Prasetya stated for the first our event, sustainability accounting, integrating accounting into business sustainability is highly relevant in today's world as global awareness of sustainability continues to rise. Business are expected to not only focus on profitability but also consider their social and environmental impact. And as an organization committed to advancing accounting and management sciences, ICMA has continuously supported research and policy development in sustainability accounting. Our contribution include providing a platform for academicians and professional to exchange knowledge, such in today's the international seminar agenda. And then we also encouraging research and scientific publication on sustainability accounting through various programs and strategic partnerships with university and research institution. And we also bridging the gap between academia and industry. So we ensuring that sustainability accounting concepts are implemented effectively in corporate policy and financial regulation. So through this seminar, we aim to inspire further research and innovation in sustainability accounting while promoting responsible business practices. And today, we are privileged to hear from Professor Dr. Susela Devi, a distinguished expert in sustainability accounting, who has made a remarkable contribution to the development of this field. And I'm confident that her insight and experiences will be invaluable to all of us. And I would also to express my gratitude to Ms. Nadya Eka Putri, who will be moderating today's discussion, and to all the organizers and contributors who have worked tirelessly to make this event possible. I sincerely hope today's discussion will not only provide us with new insight, but also encourage real-world action in integrating sustainability accounting into business and financial practices. And finally, I wish you all in engaging and fruitful seminar. May this event be enriching and beneficial to all participants. And to this observing Ramadan, yeah, may Allah grant you strength, patience, and blessing through to these sacred months. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and happy discussions. Thank you, Mr. Teguh.
Thank you, Mr. Yanuar Nugroho, for your remarks. Next, we will listen to ICMA profile reading, which will be read by Mrs. Ayu Puspitasari, SA M.Ak. To Mrs. Ayu, time is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Teguh, for the opportunity. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, Ibu, I can see it clearly.
Okay. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin today's seminar, allow me to take a moment to introduce our organizations, Ikatan Cendekiawan Muda Akuntansi, or known as ICMA. As an organization that brings together young accounting academics across Indonesia, ICMA serves as a platform for collaboration, knowledge sharing, and professional development. Our mission is to support young lecturers in enhancing their research capabilities, improving the quality of accounting education, and contributing to the academic community through various initiatives such as workshops, publications, and research collaborations. By fostering a strong academic network, ICMA aims to shape the future of accounting education in Indonesia with integrity and innovation. Now let's take a closer look at the profile of ICMA and the various programs we offer. Well, so this is the journey of ICMA. The journey of ICMA began with a simple discussion among young accounting lecturers in April 2018. This initial conversation laid the foundation for what would become a national organization. By May 2018, a WhatsApp group was formed to facilitate discussions among young accounting academics. In March 2021, the idea of establishing an official organization emerged, and in October of the same year, ICMA was officially founded at Universitas Tanjung, Pontianak. Shortly after, in April 2021, the membership recruitment began along with the formation of the National Advisory Board and ICMA Executive Board. By July 2021, ICMA had formalized its structure with the signing of its notarial deed. Since then, ICMA has celebrated its anniversaries at prestigious institutions, including October 2022, the first anniversary at Universitas Pancasila Jakarta, and then October 2023, the second anniversary at Bina Nusantara Universiti Alam Sutera Tangerang, and then October 2024, the third anniversary at Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta. These milestones reflect ICMA's commitment to growth, collaborations, and academic excellence. And then ICMA envisions becoming an organization that fosters a generation of professional and competent young accounting lecturers. The goal is to equip them with the skills and knowledge necessary to innovate and contribute to the development of Indonesia's higher education system. To achieve this vision, ICMA has outlined several key missions. The first is professional training, providing young accounting lecturers with essential training to support their teaching and research activities. And the second, research development, enhancing the research capabilities of young scholars, ensuring they produce high quality and up-to-date research. And then the third, academic contributions, offering platforms for lecturers to engage in journal publications, book writing, and other academic projects. And then human resource development, organizing training programs to improve teaching skills and career progressions. And then collaborations, establishing partnerships with national and international institutions to support research and career development. And then empowerment, equipping accounting lecturers with the necessary tools and opportunities to advance in their careers. And then community service, conducting outreach programs to apply and share academic knowledge with society. And then talent development, creating opportunities for young scholars to emerge as future leaders. ICMA is dedicated to building strong academic community that upholds integrity and contributes meaningfully to the field of accounting. And then ICMA operates through various departments, each focusing on different aspects of professionals and academic development. For example, the first is research department. They do research classes to enhance academic writing skills, book writing collaborations, and then research disseminations, and then scientific orations, and so on. And then we have also education department, community engagement and creativity department, journal department, career development department, media and IT department, membership department, public relations department, business partnerships departments, and each they have their own programs. Through these diverse programs, ICMA continues to provide valuable opportunities for its members to grow and excel in their careers. And then we also held some webinars during the weekend, in the Saturday and Sunday. And this is the executive boards of ICMA from 2024 until 2027. The president of ICMA is Mr. Raffles Ginting, and then vice president Mr. Yanuar Nugroho, and then general secretary Miss Veronica Ananta Wikrama Tunggadewi, executive secretary Mr. Ricky Yunisar Setiawan, and then the first secretary Mr. Ilham Ramadan Elshafdi, the second secretary Mr. Sandy Dwi Haryanto, and then the third secretary is me, myself, Yuku Sari, and then we have treasurer Miss Vera Damayanti and vice treasurer Miss Ayu Umiana. Besides executive, we also have department heads, and then also work team leaders and regional coordinator. So if you want to join us, please don't hesitate to contact me through the numbers shown on the screen, or you can email us to ichma.national@gmail.com. Okay, so this is our short introduction, and have a good webinar today. I pass this opportunity back to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Ayu, for reading the profile from ICMA. For those who have not joined and want to join ICMA, you can contact the person listed earlier. There are a lot of benefits that you can get through joining ICMA that has been explained earlier by Mrs. Ayu. Okay, next we will enter the main agenda for today. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the moderator for our main session, who will be guiding us through this important discussion. Allow me to read the CV of our moderator today. Our moderator today is Mrs. Nadya Eka Putri, M.Ak. She is a dedicated lecturer in accounting with a growing interest in financial accounting. With a 6 year of experience as an IELTS tutor, Nadya has helped students to achieve their academic, professional, and immigration goals. Now transitioning into academia, she is passionate about education, continuous learning, and fostering student success in both language proficiency and accounting. We can see her education background. She completed Bachelor of Economics in Universitas Tanjung Pura from year 2013 until 2017. She also completed her Master of Accounting degree in Universitas Tanjung Pura from 2021 until 2022. Also, she have a work experience, the first one as an IELTS tutor in Sigma Education from 2018 until 2024, as a part-time IELTS tutor in ICANN Education from 2024 until today, and as an accounting lecturer in Universitas Tanjung Pura from 2024 until today. Okay. Let's greet our moderator for today. Good morning, Mrs. Nadya Eka Putri.
Good morning, Mr.
Yeah.
Teguh.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you are ready to guide the event for today, ma'am.
Yeah.
To save some time, Miss Nadya Eka Putri, time is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Teguh. All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished guests. Welcome to this international public lecture on sustainability accounting, integrating accounting into business sustainability. We are honored to have you all here today, for sure, although virtually, to discuss such a crucial topic in today's evolving business landscape. As businesses worldwide move towards sustainability, accounting, of course, plays an essential role in ensuring transparency, accountability, and ethical financial reporting. So today's session will provide valuable insights into how accounting integrates with sustainability, particularly for small and medium enterprises. Before we begin, I would like to express my gratitude to ICMA or ICMA for organizing this event and to our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Susela, for sharing their expertise with us today. And first of all, please allow me to have the great honor to introduce our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Susela. To the operator, please help share the screen to show her brief profile. Yeah. Thank you. So Professor Susela has had an outstanding career spanning over 40 years in the accounting and education sector, with extensive contributions in the South Asian and Asia Pacific regions. She currently serves as the Executive Director of Change Enablement Network Solution, Sendirian Berhad, and is an honorary professor at Universiti Selangor, also known as UNISEL in Malaysia. Previously, she served as the director of the Sunway Center for Environmental Social Governance before retiring from Sunway University in August 2024 back then. Additionally, she was the past president, of the Malaysian Accounting Association from the year 2020 to 2024. Her PhD research focused on the development of the Malaysian accountancy profession before and after the country's independence. So with such an impressive background, we are very privileged to have her share her knowledge with us today. So without further ado, let's welcome our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Susela Dovike Suppiah, to deliver her keynote material on sustainability accounting. So hello, Professor Susela. You are still muted, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Very good morning.
Good
Selamat
morning.
pagi. Salam
Selamat
sejahtera
pagi.
from Malaysia.
Thank
Right.
you.
I understand that you all have started the Ramadan month earlier.
Yeah,
Today, is it? You
today.
start your fasting.
Yeah,
In
today.
Malaysia, we are starting tomorrow.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it was
So,
announced last night that we are starting tomorrow.
yeah,
So let me share my slides.
sure.
Let's see if it works.
All right, ma'am. The virtual stage is yours. You may start the material.
Can you see my slides?
Yes, ma'am. It is clear.
All right. Thank you very much. I would like to really express my sincere gratitude to ICMA for inviting me to give this keynote lecture. And I'm very glad that I'm going to be addressing young lecturers, as you play a very key role in nation building. And as the earlier speaker mentioned, in doing impactful research. And I also like to thank for the moderator, Mrs. Nadya for her capable communication with me and the timely responses to my questions. Sorry, I troubled you a lot.
Not at all,
But
Miss.
it was very, very, very inspiring for me to be dealing with a very competent professional group of ICMA members. And so I hope my lecture today will be very useful. Although the title was Sustainability Accounting, Integrating Accounting into Business Sustainability, I'm going to be focusing on SMEs and a simplified ESG disclosure guide. Let me explain why I have gone into this. Because as you can see, ESG sustainability is a very wide topic. And since the 2015, since the United Nations introduced the Sustainable Development Goals, a lot of emphasis was on the 17 SDGs. And subsequently, only in 2021 at the COP21 or whichever COP it was, they announced that we really needed disclosure standards, global disclosure standards. But you will notice that all these accounting disclosures, reporting, were very much focused on the listed companies, right? All the big players. But now we have fast forward. Now a lot of emphasis is now moving to the small businesses. And so I thought it is important because from my research dealing on sustainability accounting, I find this is an area that really needs the focus of young lecturers and future and postgraduate students to look at. So let me move on. So I just have a brief introduction and I will explain to you why ESG matters to SMEs, the role of ESG in business sustainability, understanding the SME ESG disclosure guidance framework that was issued in Malaysia. I think it will be good for you to compare that with what's happening in Indonesia. ESG disclosure categories in the SEDG. I would like to, after this, focus really on research opportunities and collaborations for the young academics as well as the postgraduate students. And how SMEs can start ESG reporting. I will share with you some case studies. I'm just going to briefly talk about those case studies and lessons that I've learned from them, and a conclusion and call to action. Because any of such lectures must result in some action plan, and hopefully ICMA will take on more action and collaborations to take this lectures forward. Okay, so it's an introduction, as I've mentioned earlier. ESG is becoming very important. Everybody's talking about sustainability, but what I find is that the small medium enterprises are being left behind and they're trying to catch up, and there's a lot of pressure on small medium enterprises to engage in sustainability reporting or in sustainability practices. And why are accountants important here is that the accountants are basically, in my conversation with CEOs of listed companies, they find that although the CEOs or the boards want to engage on sustainability practices, it's costly and they can't see the return on investments. And accountants in our traditional training have been so much focused on looking at the bottom line, and so and they seem to be, from my conversations with the CEOs, seem to be a impediment, a hurdle to cross. And so, and my conversations with financial controllers also have shown that they are very hesitant because they want to make sure the investments in all these sustainable practices will not affect their profits. So accountants traditionally, we've been so focused on profits. So what I am trying to do is basically my research has basically been to encourage accountants to play a greater role. And even the International Federation of Accountants has called on accountants to play a bigger role in advising their clients to move into sustainability. So based on all this background, I thought today's talk will focus on why it's important. I'm talking to you as future accountants and advisors to your SME clients, why it's important to let your SME clients to actually embark on sustainability. Yeah. So because SMEs have a crucial role to play in global supply chains. So, and just as a backdrop, in the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Paris, COP21, governments agreed that mobilizing stronger and more ambitious climate actions must come from governments and everybody, including investors. And there's this Paris Agreement that says we need to scale up our global response to climate change, which supports even greater ambition from governments. And the commitment from all actors are recognized in the decision of the Paris Agreement. And so you can read, I've given you the reference for it. And you can look at the Global Climate Action webpage I've referenced here. Amendment to the nationally determined contribution. They increased it to 45% of GDP, increasing it by 10% from 2021. So there's a lot of action going on now to make sure the net zero targets are achieved. But I just want to caution you, all these emissions reductions are all just on one aspect, which is the E, right? There's also the S and the G part. And the S and the G part is where the SMEs also will have to play a bigger role. So let me just move on. So before I want to you to recognize that sustainability is the bigger picture, bigger agenda. It's informed by SDG, and then we narrow it down to ESG. ESG is just to make it easier. It's a matrix, easy for people to relate this, but actually all the SDG 17 goals, which were announced by the United Nations in 2015, they all come into each aspect of E, S, and G. Right, so that's the bigger picture. So all through my talk today, I'll be focusing on ESG, but that's the narrow metrics that we have developed, especially from the finance part, for the investors to understand. So there's this three acronym, right? Three letters, ESG, that everybody is following. So there is a growing, why ESG matters for SMEs. There's a growing demand for ESG transparency. Why? Because investors and consumers prefer businesses with strong ESG commitments. And we can see this from all the research publications. You all are in accounting. So when you look at the accounting journals, there's a lot of research that actually shows that companies with strong ESG commitments actually have a higher firm value. But this is all based on research from more developed countries, and we are still lacking research and evidence from the emerging world. So this is where you can play a role. And then many multinational corporations, MNCs, require ESG disclosures from the SMEs in their supply chain. Because the MNCs have to disclose the ESG disclosures, especially emissions, and they need this from their supply chain as well, because the SMEs are their supply chain. So in emissions, there are three categories. There's scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Scope 1 is the company's own direct emissions. Scope 2 is also the indirect, and the third one leads to the wider connections, which is the supply chain. So now companies, the listed companies are going towards also disclosing the Scope 3, and this is where they need the information from their suppliers. And so a lot of companies, especially MNCs, they can pick and choose who is their supplier. So therefore, they already have checklists to see who their suppliers that they can go to. And these suppliers who want to become suppliers of MNCs must have a good ability have good that they it's really pertinent that SMEs recognize, ignore ESG, they have to get on the bandwagon. And it's very crucial for countries like Malaysia, for Indonesia, especially from the ASEAN region, that we encourage our SMEs to play a role and to take ESG seriously. So in terms of in that business costs, they have business benefits. They have enhanced access to financing through ESG-linked loans. I'm sure you recognize that the Indonesian government was also have given out loans, specifically green loans, and encouraging SMEs to apply. Similarly, in Malaysia, we have got several agencies which are giving green loans. The banks, the central bank has encouraged the banks to look at green loans. But my conversations with the SMEs is they are not even, mostly they're not aware of it. And they find it's too difficult to get the paperwork done to get these loans. So this is where I would always encourage accountants who are advising these clients, who have got SME clients, not just to audit, but advise these clients to take this, to get access to this financing. And also, by looking at ESG issues, they also will enhance their risk management and regulatory compliance so that they can avoid penalties and reputational damage. Because if your company has not complied with ESG, then emissions and stuff like that, they can affect their reputational damage. But this is in the long run, I suppose. And competitive market advantage by aligning with global sustainability standards. So this SMEs, especially, I'm not talking about small, but at least a larger companies within the SME category, the medium-sized enterprises, will actually enhance their competitive advantage if they are following some sustainability practices. So I'd like to stop here and maybe request Nadya to actually do the first poll. I think I've missed out the earlier poll.
Okay, it's okay, ma'am.
We'll do the earlier poll.
So we will start from the beginning, the very beginning, yeah,
Yes.
for the poll.
Yes.
Okay, everyone, Professor Susela has a poll that needs to be filled out by all of you. Wait, oh yeah. Okay, please everyone enter this link in the chat box. And for the code, you will be required to put a code 71547913. Okay. Perhaps for the committees as well, the members of ICMA, of course, we are allowed to participate in the poll, yeah, ma'am? Is that okay, ma'am?
Yes, everyone.
Yeah.
Just it's good to get everyone's feedback.
Okay. So here is the result for the first question, ma'am. Live report.
Can you show? Or do I stop
Am
sharing?
I sharing right now? Is
Do I
my
have to? I can't
I
see,
think
but
oh yeah, maybe maybe
I
you
stop
should stop
sharing.
sharing first, and then you can see my
Yeah,
screen. Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
So we do have about 50% who have heard about it, not sure, not familiar. So the numbers who are unfamiliar are increasing. Okay, should I move on? So it looks like this topic is very relevant to you because you are not aware of it, or most of you are not.
Yeah, not familiar.
Right. I hope at the end of it you'll be more inspired to work on this topic.
Shall we move on, ma'am, or shall we
Yeah,
wait?
I'm going to move on. We can move to the next question as well, I think.
All right. Next question. This one. Everyone may continue to the next question after responding to the previous one. Here's the second question. What do you think is the biggest challenge for SMEs in adopting ESG reporting? Lack of knowledge.
Okay, it looks like a majority feel that's lack of knowledge, and I think that's a good observation because, and it also timely that this talk will encourage you, ICMA members and young academics, to pursue research, to pursue engagement with SMEs, to encourage and to educate them about why ESG should become relevant for them. So, so this is good because without the knowledge, without even understanding why they need to do it, they will not even pursue it. They will not put it on their agenda. They will not make it a priority, and they will not actually look at whether they can overcome, whether the benefit outweighs the cost because regulatory push will only come when SMEs are on the bandwagon, because they can't, the government, the regulators cannot push SMEs if the SMEs are not themselves willing to do it. So it all starts with knowledge and awareness. And I want to share with you that when we did a workshop for SME, for small, medium practitioners, this is small accountants who have a lot of SME clients. And when we asked them, they were not, the SME, the small, medium practitioners, the accountants themselves were not aware of sustainability. So how are they going to advise their SME clients to embark on it? But after the workshop, many of them said they're going to go back and have a conversation with the SME owner client to embark on SME on sustainability. So it's the knowledge that's very important, that they need to get it for to survive with the economic conditions and all that. But they don't see ESG as a priority, right? And they don't see it as a priority because they don't have the knowledge about how it can help. Sorry, I will have to find my slide back. So the common challenges for the common challenges for SMEs are lack of expertise in sustainability reporting. Of course, first of all, as you said, they are not aware of it, but the challenge that SMEs are facing is they have no expertise in what they need to do for sustainability reporting. So in Malaysia, I'm sure in Indonesia as well, you have lots of workshops being conducted for SMEs to embark on sustainability reporting. Okay. So we need a lot of training to be done for SMEs. And again, cost constraints in implementing ESG initiatives. SMEs feel there is cost, but again, I feel it's because they're just looking at the cost by itself, but they do not see how incurring the cost is going to help them get more benefits in the future. I'll share some case with you later. And they feel, and this is a general complaint by not only just SMEs, also the listed companies find that the regulatory requirements are so complex, and there are so many requirements for ESG frameworks. There are so many. There's the GRI standard, there's IFRS S1, S2, there is the European Union side. Everybody has got a framework. Okay, so it's very confusing what should be done. And that's why I should be talking to you about the Malaysia. What the Capital Market Malaysia did was to introduce a very simplified guideline for SMEs. And I think it will be very helpful for me to talk to you about that. So why, again, before all of you will probably recognize the SMEs are very crucial in the global supply chain. They are the backbone of the economy. 90% of the business worldwide and contribute to global trade. They also account for 40% of global, and they are very large corporations. Their ESG compliance therefore affects sustainability of the major brands. Okay, so so big companies, big corporations actually get sourced their supplies from SMEs, and if the SMEs are not adopting sustainable practices, it's going to affect their brand name, okay, and their reputation. So that's why it's important for SMEs to actually jump on the bandwagon. So another, also related to that, there's increasing pressure for MNCs and consumers. MNCs are demanding ESG compliance from suppliers to mention their own sustainability commitments. Consumers prefer sustainable products and influencing the supply chain expectations. So one example of SME contribution is, for example, SMEs, as a textile SME can reduce water usage in dyeing their products for global fashion brands. But there are so many things SMEs can do to make sure that their product is, or their supply is wanted by the various global fashion brands or any other company in many other ways. Okay, so a packaging SME transitioning to biodegradable materials to meet export market regulations will be more welcome than one that is not using biodegradable materials. So there are so many ways your SME clients can become a leader, can get the business from the big corporations. And also, so in that context, as ESG sustainability is very much related to the triple bottom line concept. I think all of you, when you studied accounting, sustainability accounting, you would have looked at the history of sustainability accounting. In the 70s, this concept of triple bottom line was introduced, where they say in the financial statements, you're not just looking at the profit, but you're looking at the two other bottom lines, which is the impact on the people and impact on the planet. So this concept of triple bottom line has now seeped into accounting. Especially this is a very important, although financial accounting looks at reporting, it's also very important for management accounting to look at the impact of the practices. The strategies are done by the strategic management accounting, and therefore they got to look at the triple bottom line. So you're looking at people, we are talking about people first, profit comes last. Employee well-being, diversity, equity and inclusion, fair wages, community impact, these are all covered under the people aspect. Then the planet, carbon, this is where emissions comes in, the environment, we're talking about carbon footprint reduction, zero carbon, waste management, water conservation, and circular economy models. So these are all aspects that companies can focus on, which is again related to the E part of it, and the people goes to the S part. And then, of course, profit. Profit is, of course, important because without profit, companies can survive, right? But the profit, the focus should be on sustainable business growth. That means making money while doing good. Okay, cost savings from energy efficiency can lead to long-term viability as well. So they need to be focused on how they can save costs at the same time save the environment. Okay, so so ESG's impact on long-term business resilience is also there. Resilient businesses adapt better to climate risk, because if you're conscious about climate change and how your business is going to be impacted by climate risk, floods, or what other climate-related issues, they can better adapt the businesses. Okay, so companies with strong ESG records are more likely to secure partnerships and contracts with MNCs. Right. Okay, so given this aspect that ESG is important for SMEs, but many are not aware of it. Many feel that embarking on ESG reporting or sustainability reporting is very complicated. We have what we call SDG SEDG. Okay, this is SME ESG disclosure guideline. This is a pioneering guideline that's issued by the Capital Markets of Malaysia, and it provides a simplified and standardized approach to ESG reporting, and it's designed for businesses with varying sustainability maturity levels. Now, you've asked me what sustainability maturity levels is. If you look at we have done a survey of a study of the top 100 companies, listed companies by market capitalization. And within those top companies, we find that many are maybe the top 20% are okay with sustainability reporting, but the bottom half are not even started, are not even sure how to do sustainability. This is the listed companies. Right? And so there is this concept called sustainability maturity. It means how long they have embarked on the journey of sustainability and how well they are doing sustainability reporting in all the various metrics. So that's a concept of sustainability maturity. So in our interview conducted with the top listed companies, we find that while the top listed companies are already there, many of the bottom listed companies, the last below 50, they are still struggling, have not jumped on the bandwagon, but Malaysia has made it mandatory for companies to report sustainability in 2024. So we'll wait and see how the reports look like in 2025 when the results are announced. So again, that's so what more about SMEs? Many are not aware. Most SMEs are not aware, but some have moved on. And those who have captured or moved into sustainability earlier are reaping the rewards. So this is what the simplified ESG disclosure guide is about. And so the key feature of this guideline is, so why I'm sharing with you is that although SMEs are struggling, you might want to look at this guideline and see how it compares with the Indonesian one, if you have one, and how your SMEs can benefit from it. So the key features, they look at the basic level, then intermediate level, and then to move to the advanced level. So not every SME can straight away go into advanced level. They have to take it step by step. So as they mature in their sustainability practice, they will get on to the different levels. So this is a very easy, simple mechanism or way of encouraging SMEs to embark on sustainability reporting. And I think as young educators in accounting, you can teach them or you can expose the students to these simple levels, because when your students go out and work in the companies with the SMEs, they'll be the champions of these, pushing these companies to adopt. Okay, so that's a role that you can play here. And this framework is very aligned to global standards. It's aligned to GRI, the Global Reporting Initiative. It's also aligned to IFRS S1, S2. This is the International Financial Reporting Standards for Sustainability, issued by the International Sustainability Standards Board. And FTSE for Good is the Malaysian version of index for responsible investment index. A lot of the listed companies want to aspire to be in the FTSE for Good index. It's a reputation to be achieved. So it's aligned to it, but it's not as stringent because this is for the SMEs. But it is aligned to this practices, global standards, because then when the SMEs, as they mature and they get ready to become listed companies, they are already on a good pathway. So that's the understanding of SEDG framework. So the disclosures, again, are very simplified. They're focusing on environmental, emissions, energy, water, waste, and materials. Social part, they focus on human rights, employee management, diversity, inclusion, health and safety, community engagement. Governance, they're looking at governance structure, policy commitments, risk management, anti-corruption, and customer privacy. And, you know, a lot of people, when they talk about ESG, tend to focus on the E part. But when it comes to SMEs, they struggle with the G, and a lot of them ignore the S as well. And same thing with the listed companies. They think E is the most important, but the most important is the G. Because if you have good governance structure, top management, board leadership, driving, setting the tone, the whole ESG will be easily implemented in the company. So focus should be on G. G drives E and S. And I hear complaints from practitioners who are saying, oh, the SMEs don't have a good governance structure, but that's important to have good governance for them to actually make sure they are able to do the ESG disclosures. Okay, so anyway, so when you come to E part, you can have, for example, reporting on energy consumption, carbon emissions, waste reduction. A good example would be a SME, a manufacturing SME implements solar panels and tracking scope 1 and 2 emissions. If they can report that, they will be very much favored by the MNCs, because then they would be securing their supplies. From the S part, you have, for example, ensuring fair labor practices, diversity, inclusion, and employee well-being. And a retail company increasing workforce diversity and providing ESG training for staff. Okay, for example, that could be a small practice that they can report as under the S component. Governance, for example, I see a lot of companies now sending out surveys on anti-corruption policies, whistleblowing mechanisms, data protection measures. These are all important. For example, a technology startup can improve governance by implementing transparent financial reporting. So there is, although these ESG seem very big and you think it's only for big companies, small companies can also do parts of this, and it's very relevant for them. Okay, so I would now want to move on to giving you I have time, right? Still have time to look at the next part. Having got through this ESG, why it's important for SMEs, what I'm finding is would be useful for ICMA members is that you look at how you can embark on research, right? It's important, collaboration. And one of the things so far I find is that's missing is that's really no discussion or research limited of how different regulatory environments affect SME ESG reporting. In Malaysia, we have just started out engaging with the SMEs, and we find the very lack of knowledge. So so Malaysia has introduced this guideline. And what is happening in Indonesia? It'd be helpful to do a comparative of ESG reporting by SMEs. Are you aware of any SMEs that have done ESG reporting? Think about it, because in Malaysia, I have been approached by the GRI who want to do training for SMEs on ESG, and they asked me, do you know any ESG SMEs that have done ESG reporting? And I only know one, and that's the one I'm writing a case on. So I've done a case study on this SME, but nobody else. I asked all the network, I asked all the SME trainers, all the people who are conducting training on sustainability for SMEs, and they're not aware of any SME that has embarked on ESG reporting. So it might be helpful to know if there are any cases. And if you are aware of any SME that is doing ESG reporting, please let me know, because GRI would be interested to write case studies with you. And so differences in stakeholder pressure, how are the stakeholders pushing it? How the investors' expectation, and what is the sustainability maturity in Indonesia, for example, and Malaysia? So it will be interesting to explore this. And we can talk about how to do these things if you are interested. The other one that is very much in the forefront is, how is the ESG, how does it affect SME financial performance? Does ESG compliance lead to better financial returns and reduce risk exposure? Now, most of you in accounting researchers, we tend to do the capital market, right? We tend to look at the listed companies because data is available, published data. But SMEs, you can't find data. You have to do these things through survey, and getting survey responses is going to be a big challenge. So this is where we are challenged. But in China, actually, they have very good system of collecting SME data. So, well, in Malaysia, we also struggle because the only way is to get it through survey, because we do not have we don't have access. If we want access, we have to pay for it. So it's a bit costly for the researchers to access this data. But if you can access this data, then it's very important to actually contribute to this research to see whether when SMEs that do ESG reporting or compliance, do they have better financial returns? Not from the spec of investors, because they don't have investors. It's more from their internal performance, the profitability and risk reduction. And so it will be good if we can do case analysis, case studies of SMEs with strong ESG credentials and those without. So again, this requires a case study approach, and this could be something. There's a lot of demand for, there's a huge research gap in this area where you can focus on doing research using case study. And then there's also this contention that digital transformation in ESG reporting is important. Look at AI, role of AI, blockchain, automation in ESG disclosures. I'll share with you some of this in the case study I'm writing. And you're using digital platforms to streamline SME sustainability data collection. The Bursa Malaysia has started this on getting SMEs to, actually they started with the listed companies to provide information about their sustainability, so we can have a digital platform to see how sustainable all these companies are. But it's not streamed down to SMEs, but it's good to explore how this will help. So I'm not sure what extent Indonesia regulators are moving this digital transformation for ESG reporting. It will become very relevant and timely in the near future as well, because you're already moving towards ESG assurance, sustainability assurance. So important to ensure the data is reliable and transparent. So ESG compliance in the supply chain, again, MNCs, how can MNCs enforce ESG standards in their SME clients? This is, again, a case study approach. You need to find out what they are doing. A case study on SME adapting to sustainability demands of global corporations will be very, very welcome. And so also you can look at the government policy and regulatory support for SMEs. How effective are the ESG incentives and grants and tax benefits? What are the policy recommendations to enhance SME ESG adoption and sustainability maturity? How can they transition from basic to advanced? Right? And how many are transitioning? How long does it take them to transition? All this information is still missing, so research is important. role of training, partnerships, and financial incentives in sustainability maturity. Again, this is something you can actually research on, look at how much training is being done, what is the outcome of such trainings, and this will be helpful to ensure that the trainings are on track and the SMEs are moving towards sustainability gradually. Right. So I have this list of papers which you can read. I'm not going to go through. There are only 7 that I picked up, but you can see that these are research opportunities for young academics, ICMA members to embark on, to look at. You can contact the various academics or authors and do a similar research in Indonesia if it has not been done. Right? So just sharing with you this aspects of it. So there are about 7 papers that you can actually, you'll be given, have they been given already, these handouts?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So you can look at it, just go through with it. And there's a links there for you to click on and takes you to the papers. So all these papers offer valuable insights into challenges and opportunities associated with ESG adoption and sustainable practices in SMEs and supply chains. Right, so we can have a poll now. I'll stop sharing.
Okay, for the third question, yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right, everyone may continue to the third question in the poll and give your responses on which research area in ESG interests you the most. Go ahead.
We'll give a bit more time. I see there are some questions coming through. Maybe I can take them through during the question and answer session.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think we get an idea that most of you are quite keen to look at SME and financial performance, the impact on SME financial performance. That's understandable because you want to see the incentive for SMEs to adopt sustainable practices. Let me just so you have questions you want to ask orally. We will have it during the Q&A session, right? So let me go and share. Give me some time. I just need to get to the slide. So from your poll, you find that you are very interested in the ESG impact on SME financial performance. I can talk about that slowly as I move along in my case study that I will share with you. And also we can discuss this during the Q&A session. Okay. So in the guideline, they already talk about how SMEs can start the ESG reporting, and this is something you can also track. It's encouraged that the SMEs do a step-by-step approach. First, they assess ESG readiness. First of all, the readiness comes from identifying what is relevant to the business. The ESG topic, the material items that's relevant to the business will depend on the SME's business itself, what sector and what are the materials issues that the company faces. So first of all, you need to identify that. And in big companies, generally they do a stakeholder engagement. And they talk to their stakeholders, the key stakeholders, and they find out what is important for them. But SMEs being small businesses, they know who their key stakeholders are. What SMEs are keen on is really basically they are the suppliers, right? So who are those who are their creditors who are buying their products? So they would know what is the company's interest or what is the item that the companies are interested in. So first of all, the SME needs to identify their readiness, how ready they are. And the guidelines of the Capital Markets Malaysia gives you a template. So easy to just take the template and follow with the basic disclosures. So if you are interested, I can give you the link. I can share later with ICMA the link to the template. And thirdly, we have to focus on, so the SME itself have to realize what they want to implement and implement it gradually. Focus on energy saving, waste reduction, and governance improvements. This would be things that are doable, and they can focus on this and engage with the stakeholders. But by right, I would have thought they would have engaged with the stakeholders to collaborate with suppliers and the supply chain partners, investors, and employees, also to see whether they're on the right track. And then they monitor and report progress using KPIs to track improvements and adapt ESG. So how is this done is that the various departments within the SME, personal people are trusted to achieve certain improvements, and that becomes part of their KPI. And if that's done, then the whole organization, the whole SME will be able to progress. And I will share with you this case that I've done where you can see how, where I've shared with you how they did it. Okay, let me move. So what I did was I'm still in the process of getting this case study published. So I've not shared the publication with you. But what I did was I was fortunate to get in touch with the SME that started to take the sustainability journey long before SDGs came into the picture. It just happened this SME, small company. It's a company involved in newsprint. So they supply papers for printing, right? So they do paper. So their business is to supply paper for printing, printing papers for books, for reports, for anything they. So what this company in 2011, 2009, the CEO of the company, it's a small company with only about 10, 15 employees. They decided that they will embark on becoming green. And now the concept of green sustainability and green reporting was not there in 2009, right? SDG only came into 2015. But they went into green because they felt they were going to save a lot of money by becoming green. So the company invested in getting machines because they're doing printing, right? So they use sourcing inks that are sustainable, and they got machines that are very favorable for green printing, green technology. And they bought these machines from Germany, and it was a huge cost. But they found that with these machines, they're able to do more businesses. They can meet more businesses. They're more efficient. And the important insight that I got from that was that these machines are so sophisticated, they actually gather all the data. So then it became easier for this company to actually, what they did it for was for the ISO 14,000 something on environmental management systems. So this is very important for management accounting lecturers and researchers to understand that the ISO 14,000 is very relevant to this green journey that this manufacturers do. So they actually embarked on ISO 14,000. They got ISO certified. Then they got green certified, and then they published their first ESG report in 2021. It's not required for SMEs to publish, but this company did it because they have all the data, because the machines actually collate all this information. And one of the other things that they were able to do was, because they have done all this green technology and investment in green technology, and they could see the benefits of saving costs, and so they were profitable. And they also could use their journey, the experience, to apply for more green funds from the Malaysian government. So they got a lot. So they became a champion for SMEs. So that even when the MIDAO and the ministry, the regulator agency, wants to promote green technology about SMEs, they call this company to actually have a promotion exhibition to show how they did it. So there's a leadership, so this company has got a competitive advantage because they're well known, their reputation is improving. So I asked her, is it because you became green that you got more customers? She said the customers don't know about their green technology. It's just that because they've got green technology machines that they're using, they could take more customers. They could do more businesses. They could take on more clients. And because the machines were very efficient. So there's a cost investing in these machines. There's a cost saving, and efficiency leads to greater productivity and therefore greater profitability. So this is a very good insight that I got from this company. And I try to share this with other SMEs to say they can also look at their business model and see what will make their business more competitive, can save costs. We shouldn't try to push them to do ESG for the sake of ESG, but they must know by adopting a cost saving or efficient going green, by going green, they are actually helping to improve their efficiency and productivity, and therefore the profits increase. So this is something that I would encourage you guys to look at. If you know any SME who has embarked on, don't look at them doing ESG reporting, because they have to first practice. They must first do the sustainable practice, maybe invest in machines, or invest in dyes, or invest in some kind of small thing that will improve their process and therefore lead to greater productivity. And from this story, then they can share the data and they can get more financing for their work, and their clients, the customers will also be encouraged to get more supplies from them. So the MNCs, they can report, they can get more businesses, and this is how they should take. So the journey can't be overnight. So it is a gradual process that the companies go through. So this company adopted in 2009, bought the machines from Germany, invested a lot of money, but subsequently 2 years, they were already recovering their investments and they were getting more money and support from the government for their business. And now they are able to do 2021, they did their first ESG report. So it is, you can't straight jump into reporting. You got to do the practice first. So if you're advising your SME clients to move to ESG, ask them to practice first, see the data, collect the data, see how their performance has improved and how they can get more funding from the government, from the agencies, and then also disclose about these little practices to their potential customers, to the MNCs, and get more business. So that's a gradual process. So my lesson learned and takeaway that I would advise is they can't do it overnight. You have to first of all, so when I talked to this person who was their sustainability director, she said it's her boss who wanted it. And so she went all out to do it. But there are challenges. The challenge would be one she faces. The employees are thinking, why can't we do the same thing we've been doing? Why are we doing new things? Why are we documenting? Why do we have to do all this, documentation? So that the employees were reluctant. So she said she took on all the job of doing all the documentation because she didn't want to stress out the employees. So there's a lot of challenges if SMEs want to adopt these practices, but there must be a careful strategy, and they can not, so that the employees don't become so discouraged with so much reporting requirements. Okay, so this is even in the big companies, they have a whole sustainability reporting team that handles all this, but they still require data from the various operations heads. So that coordination is very important. So that's what I would like to share with you from my case study that I have done. I'm still writing it. I'm finished writing, it's still in the process of finalizing some parts, but that will be helpful for me as a trainer, educator, to see how to get the buy-in of SMEs. If they see somebody else has done it successfully, then they are more encouraged to do it. So as ICMA members, and you can focus on talking to SMEs who are thinking about doing it and tracking. This research will be longitudinal. You got to see how long they take to become successful. It won't be overnight. I was lucky to find a company that embarked on it in 2009, and 2021 they are doing the ESG report. So you might want to find, I'm sure in Indonesia, you will find a lot of SMEs which have embarked on ESG on their own accord and not waiting for the government to enforce these requirements. So it'll be good to have such case studies, and we can collaborate on case writing with GRI. Okay. So I think I'll leave more time for the questions and answers. And so my final thought is, one of the things as educators is you got to impress on them that ESG is an opportunity for the SMEs. It's not a burden. Don't look at it as a burden. It's really a good opportunity for SMEs to embark on this, because when they go green, they are able to get more funding, got support, more customers, and therefore improve their performance. So don't look at it as a compliance issue. Oh, the government wants us to report. Hey, we look and we report. No, it doesn't work that way. So you have to make it an opportunity that SMEs can seize upon. And I would also like to encourage postgraduate research and the young academics in ICMA to actually embark on more ESG research on SME context, because this is really very much needed, right? So we can have a poll now. Oh, I'll stop sharing.
Everyone may continue to the last question of the poll today. After the session, how likely are you to explore ESG in your research or work?
Are there any more still responding? So I will start sharing. So it's very encouraging to know that most majority of you are likely to start on the SME research. And if you do need any help, we can reach out to me through ICMA. I'm in touch with Mr. Raffles Ginting. So you can reach out to me and Nadya through Nadya as well, and we can look at how you can embark on this research. Okay, let me just share a bit more. Okay, so it's quite encouraging that about 14 of you are likely to, some 10 very likely, and 4 somewhat likely to embark on this. And I'm happy to reach out and encourage you to do this research. So my next steps is to actually encourage you to collaborate. I'm also the past president of Malaysian Accounting Association. We in Malaysia, our association is encouraging our academics to also collaborate, more collaborations and on research. And I actually chair the research and publication subcommittee in my AA. And we really look forward to any collaborations because there are a lot of areas where we can collaborate and do joint research with the Indonesian counterparts. So please reach out and we're happy to connect with you and research on SMEs, especially because for the big guys, the big firms, there's a lot of research that's already being done. But the gap is sustainability. As you all saw, a lot of them are not aware of it. And my engagement and my workshop feedback as well, the small accountants say their clients are not interested. The accountants themselves are not interested. So I've got 2 journey to do, encouraging accountants to become sustainability champions and to encourage your SME clients to embark on it. So my PhD student has just concluded her research on qualitative, talking to both SME and SMPs to see why their journey, when they're starting the journey and what is the hurdles that they are facing. But we couldn't go on to the next stage of doing a survey because the SMPs are very busy. Nobody's responding to surveys. So we had to, but this is a post-doctoral work that she will continue. So if there's any interest, please get in touch, and I can also connect you to other researchers within the accounting fraternity to continue this research with the industry as well, because we also work very closely with the Malaysian accounting firms in Malaysia. There are 2 groups. There's the small accounting firms, the Malay Chartered accounting firms, and of course, there's the Malaysian Institute of Accountants. So please come up with ideas and we can always have a collaborative research to kick off some research runs. And there are a lot of calls for papers on SMEs and ESG. So please embark on it. There's a conference coming in June in Bali. Hope many of you will attend this. This is basically looking at accounting issues in emerging economies. So I will be presenting, giving a keynote at that conference. So hope to see many of you there and expand your network. So, as I say,
Hello? Oh, okay. Hello, ma'am.
can we move to the question and answers?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. I lost
Should I
a
stop
bit.
sharing?
Yeah. Thank you. All right, so that was all. Thank you very much, Professor Susela, for such an insightful presentation. So now we will proceed to the question and answer session. So to all participants, if you have any questions, please use the raise hand feature if you would like to talk to Professor Susela and deliver your questions in person, or you can also type your question in the chat box, whichever you prefer. and we will take as many questions as the time allows. And we have seen there are two people raising their hands. Maybe we can start from the first one. I saw Mr. Gibran Felmi Oktar. Yeah,
Yes, no.
please.
Good morning. Is my microphone working?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for Ms. Susela for the material about ESG, penerapan ESG
Application,
application
implementation.
on small and medium enterprises.
Yeah.
But I cannot help but notice that most of the example given are relating to manufacturing because, as you said, most are interested in the environmental part. I want to ask one question, but I will try to be as slow and comprehensible as possible. If I were to open a service business, for example, tutoring, English tutoring, how much does ESG matter on the service company according to your experience in this field, as well as does ESG matters more in an already established company, or is it better to start ESG implementation early?
Okay, they're very good questions. Thank you, Mr. Gibran, for raising those questions. Because of time, I didn't go into so much details, but yes, ESG is, although the examples came from manufacturing, but ESG can be in service as well, because there are many cases you can look at. For example, hotel service industry, the hotel business, it's a service business. What the many things they do, in terms of the practices, sustainable practices, giving you washing their linen and, trying to reduce the washing and the soap and the sourcing of all that. So there's many, many things they can do. And your question of whether you should be an established business or startup, it doesn't matter. If you're a startup, you're just starting business, it's good to go on the right track. But it doesn't mean if you're already in the business, you can always change. Like the case study I was sharing, they were doing something else, but somehow in the middle of the track, the CEO decided he wants to go green. But it was the top decision because it's the owner who decided. Everybody follows along, but sometimes you have to get the buy-in from the employees, right? So it depends on what, as I said, the first step is identify what matters to your business. How will your business improve? What's the damage most are you doing? Are you using a lot of water? Are you using a lot of electricity? So, so it depends. If you're service, then what are the things that you are using or providing? So if, for example, if you're a food service, food vendor, you're giving serving food in the restaurant, you want to do away with plastic usage, right? So you don't give plastic cups, you go for paper cups, or so that's all those decisions you have to. So you really have to know what are the things that you can do, which is easily done and still save cost and still be good for the environment. I hope I've answered the question. It's not limited to manufacturing. It's wide ranging. Services also have a lot of impact on the environment. They could also be talking about employee value angle of it, which they can report. So doesn't mean they have to go on, huge investments. So we are actually looking at the health, what's this called? The four components of the health of the environment, health of the employee, health of the customer, and the well-being of the community, right? So you can focus on all these well-being of the environment, well-being of the customers, well-being of the community, well-being of the employees. Could be another way companies can look at it. Yeah, so it start with something. Don't go for big agenda, big targets. Just start something small so that it plants in the idea that it's something you want to move towards. And I said it can't do it overnight.
That answers the questions
Hope I
beautifully.
answered your question.
Indeed. Thank you, Ms. Susela. Ma'am Susela.
Okay. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Mr. Gibran. Okay, let's move on to the next person wishing to ask a question. There is Mr. Akbar Ibrahim over here. Yeah, please, sir.
Yes.
All right, thank you for the opportunity, moderator and distinguished speaker. I'm Akbar Ibrahim from Gorontalo State University. So I'm going to ask a question. In Indonesia, we are ranked second in the world who use plastic in every life, and especially in small medium enterprises. And this case impact not only in environmental and economy, but also the public health. As a local, I see that Indonesia often use single-use plastic containers to wrap food and for other buying and selling activities, which causes waste everywhere. And my question is there another solution for small, medium-sized enterprises to minimize the amount of plastic use, especially in the food industry? Can we implement this kind of SDGs to support our small, medium enterprise to decrease plastic waste? Thank you.
This is a good question. Good that you're thinking about it. Yeah, as you said, food suppliers, like in Malaysia, in for example, I come from Sunway, we discourage any vendor who wants to operate in Sunway, any food truck that comes there, there's no single-use plastic is allowed. So when that's imposed, when the customer says no single-use plastic, then the vendor has to think of some ways to do it. So it'd be worthwhile finding out how you can encourage them. Like in New Zealand, way back in early 2000s, something that is eatable. You know, they come up with this plates that you can, in the end, eat it up. It's biodegradable, but you can also eat the plate. Right? So you have to find innovators. This is where researchers are very helpful to work with the scientists. This is where it is not just accounting research by itself. You need multidisciplinary research to talk to scientists, to look at innovators, to see how you can bring that knowledge, technology to the small practices, the small, medium businesses to adopt. So there's a lot of potential if you want to look at startups doing this kind of innovate. They are looking for solutions, so you need to provide the solutions. So I've just given you, there's a lot of ways you can minimize the use of single-use plastic. In fact, plastic pollution is such a great, and I think in Malaysia, I think it's very high content of microplastics in our body. Right? They all end up in the fish in the sea, and we eat the fish and we end up with microplastics within the body. So it's really, really getting the SMEs, the food vendors to understand, everyone, in fact, the impact of microplastics on the body, and the impact of plastic pollution. So it's more conversations you need to have, and the solutions out there. You just need to get a group of people, sit down and talk about how you can help. Yeah. I see when we have Grab, and I see when I unwrap, there's so much of plastic that is wrapped about. But we have to find a way to solve. But if you find the solution, you have got good business. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. The answer was clear and answered my question.
Thank you, Mr. Akbar. All right, moving on to the next person. We have Mr. Tommy Bermana. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you for the chance. It's really a pleasure to meet Prof. Prof, I wanted to ask about the comparison for the Malaysia and Indonesia. Actually, there is in Indonesia is not all of the companies aware about the ESG, and I would like to know that how about the Malaysia? How did Malaysia enhance for the company to be aware for the ESG comparing to Indonesia? Actually, Indonesia is really very spread of the company and which of a lot of island, which is very hard maybe for to implement of the ESG, and how but in Malaysia to enhance it. And of course, that it's so very hard to us to maybe to enhance it. And so, how what is your suggestion to comparing to the Malaysia? Just it, Prof. Thank you.
Yeah, for a start, as your question is very appropriate, very apt, and timely, because that's why I raised this question also, that I raised this topic because Malaysia, the SMEs are also lagging behind. And that is why the capital markets Malaysia issued this simplified ESG guide for SMEs, because then they want the SMEs to jump on the bandwagon and take it slowly. So they are funding a lot of training for the SMEs, and then they give incentive for SMEs to attend this training because they can take it. They are funded when the companies, the small SMEs send their employees for the training, they get to collect. They are supported by the what do we call it? HRDF, it's called HRDC, Human Resource Development Corporation. They give incentives, so the fees are waived or fees are refunded to the companies. So you have to motivate the SMEs to send their employees for training. So this is one of the ways that we are doing, and this simplified guide helps them to see that this is important. And I don't have to rush. I have 3 levels. I can start on the journey. So this is what, but there's no research yet, as far as I know, which has gauged how far this has been successful. And it's worth doing, comparing with what Malaysia is doing and how Indonesia can also collaborate in that sense. That's what I think. It's a very opportunistic time I picked this topic because I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Yeah. Because when GRI asked me to identify a SME that is doing ESG reporting, I couldn't find any, except for the one I know. So it's worthwhile, because as if Indonesian SMEs have become sustainable, then you can garner the potential for getting your export market, of expanding your exports to Europe is very high, because all these countries now will require you to have ESG reporting. So that you can't just report something if you're not doing something, right? So you need to do it before you can report. And that's why I want to impress on not report. I didn't want to focus on the reporting requirements. I'm focusing on how you can encourage the SMEs to do the sustainable practices. Then only they report. And yeah.
Okay, Prof. I wanted to ask about the maybe is that in Malaysia also is only for the industry of manufacturing or some industry that sometimes related with the mining or something like it, or is that like
Everybody.
everybody? Okay,
It's everybody. At the moment, all listed companies will have to report for 2024. So we are waiting to see the reports in 2025. And SMEs not yet mandatory, but they will soon have to move to reporting. But
Okay,
SMEs, because they are far behind, we are now doing the hand holding, giving them the guides, ask them to get on it. And the banks are going through, on their part, the banks are giving loans to SMEs, which are green loans. So if the SMEs embark on sustainable practices, they get loans, get better access to financing. So you have many different ways of encouraging SMEs to become sustainable.
Okay. How about the position of the accountant at this time? Maybe sometimes maybe not all of the accountant is really understanding of the sustainability
Yes.
or something like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what we found when we did the workshop with about 20 accountants, small accountants, they're not aware of it. Of course, the big four accountants are aware of it. They have a big department on sustainability. They advise their clients. But the small accountants haven't jumped onto this potential. But I tell them this is a very potential area for them to provide business advisory service to their customers, to their SME clients.
Okay. Thank you, Prof, for the information. It's really interesting, and hopefully, maybe
Okay, I hope you can engage on research in this area.
yeah. Thank you, Prof. Thank you for the information.
Thank you, Mr. Tommy. All right, is there anyone else?
Somebody from Masina has a question.
Oh yeah, in the chat box we have Miss Masina. Professor Susela, can you give us insights on some measurement related to the ESG disclosures that we may intake?
Okay, this is interesting because we just finished our research on that. I have a PhD student who looked at ESG disclosures. We use what she did was she took the top 200 companies listed in Malaysia and looked at because all companies have to do sustainability reporting. And because at this point of time, we did up to 2023, there was no requirement on a standard for reporting because IFRS S1, S2 has just been adopted in Malaysia. So most companies use GRI for their disclosure, the Global Reporting Initiative disclosures, and there are 104 variables. The ESG component, if you look at what there are about 104, if I'm not mistaken. So we measure the disclosure quality by looking at of the 104, what is disclosed. So each disclosure gets a 1 score of 1. So we rank it. So out of 104, how much do you score? So that's a painful way of doing it, but there are no other measurements that you can get because most of the disclosures that you get from Bloomberg and all that are not very complete. So you have to do it manually. But we are also using AI now. Once you've done the mapping, and with proper instructions, you can use artificial intelligence to actually do this scoring for you based on your same template from all the companies. That's what we are working on now. So actually, to answer your question, yes, we score it manually, but to get the disclosure quality. But there is, you should explore the AI tools to do this scoring. Does it answer your question, Masina?
Miss Masina?
Can I continue the questions, ma'am?
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. On the scoring, what formula you applied?
No, we get all the total number of disclosures required by GRI. There are 104, 109, I can't remember. Then each one of the disclosure, we give a score of 1 or 0. And so we add the total.
The function for the AI and the the AI on the scorings?
That one is once we haven't finished this, but what we are doing is we have done it manually. Now we are going to get AI to do it for us. We give the formula, we give the template to AI and get the artificial intelligence. You have to write a program for it to do it. So that's currently in progress, but this is a potential for you all to use AI. I can share the paper link with you on how the scores have been published so that others can use the scoring, but that was done manually.
I see. Okay, you may. I'm curious with the scoring that you applied in
Yeah,
this
I can
research.
share that with Nadya later, the paper
Yes.
link,
Here,
so that you.
in my past paper, my latest paper related with this, I'm also doing the scoring manually. Yeah, the company's total company's disclosure divided by the standard GRI total
Okay.
number of disclosure, and but we have to apply the special conditions related with the we have a core type and a comprehensive type. The core type means the company selecting the if company is selecting the core type, they will apply only the material matter. So we have to count the
Okay.
material matter.
Okay.
Maybe I could share my paper to you also
Oh,
related
that'd be
with
good.
this.
That'd be good. Yeah, if you can
Yeah,
share it
it's
with
a
Nadya.
yeah, it's already published also in the corporate governance journals. Ma'am.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. Ours was published in the Financial Accounting and Reporting Journal.
I see. Okay.
So
Miss
that's good to
Martina,
know.
do you want to share screen of your paper that you want to discuss with Ma'am Susela?
Or we
I
can
don't
always
prepare.
discuss it another time. You can
Okay.
email
Yeah.
me. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
email. I can give you my email to
Yeah.
email me.
Yeah. Please. Okay. Okay. I can email you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you, Miss Masina. Um, by the way, Professor, I actually received a personal message. And this person asked for help to deliver the question for you. So the question is, Professor, could you suggest a new research topic related to sustainability accounting, preferably one that allows for collaboration between Indonesian researchers and Malaysians, and maybe one that is the most urgent nowadays? Now, what kind of topic is that?
Yeah, I'm trying to send my message across, but it doesn't seem to be working. Okay, I have listed for you about seven, some topics in the thing.
Yes.
All those are
Uh-huh.
very urgent topics to be done.
Yeah.
What if one urgent one I'm particularly interested in, and a lot of requests from the Global Reporting Initiative group is for case studies of successful SMEs.
ESG. Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
We couldn't find many in Malaysia.
Yeah. What about the one that allows collaboration between our two countries, Malaysia and Indonesia? Is there
Yeah,
any
we can do by comparing.
Comparing
So
SMEs in
one
Malaysia?
SME in Indonesia and one in the same industry, same sector, we could look at a comparison.
Mm-hmm.
We could write two case studies and then draw lessons from both. So you could do a comparative and see what works in Indonesia and what doesn't work, and what works in Malaysia, what are the factors that are affecting. So this is a very qualitative kind of research, but then that can identify the theory and the factors affecting, so that they can do you can do a more quantitative research later.
Okay. I think that answers the question enough. Anyone else wants to ask a question?
Prof, might I ask again?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Mr.
Okay,
Tommy.
thank you. Yeah. I would like asking maybe to add the previous question. Maybe what is the topic of the maybe really interesting for the people for now for the sustainability actually to maybe in Indonesia maybe I'm still new and want to be involved in sustainable research, maybe what is the something topic that may be interesting and very novelty in our area in Indonesia that you suggest for? Maybe you can specific about maybe about the qualitative or quantitative or something like it, and what is topic that will relevant for it.
So a novel and specific and novel topic on
Yeah,
sustainability
novelty,
accounting, yeah.
novelty in
Mm-hmm.
sustainability accounting that you really suggest for us to for Indonesia people.
Yeah.
Listed some in the presentation. They're all novel. There doesn't been any studies on these things, so they are going to be there will be contribution from doing this paper, and mostly because I'm looking at the urgent need is in the SME sector. So then the studies are going to be qualitative because getting this data from them from in a quantitative data is going to be difficult unless you do questionnaire survey. So a qualitative, insightful case studies of several case studies will also be a good approach to take. That is what's mostly lacking now. In fact,
Okay, maybe just it should be meant to be specified. Maybe what kind of case study maybe really like for now the recent case. Yeah, maybe you suggest for us to in Indonesia for recent case studies. Maybe what kind of topic that specified that really interesting for the reviewer for now about sustainability. That you suggest.
well, this I don't know. This any topic will be interesting because there's a huge gap in the sustainability area in the emerging economies. For example, if you are a capital market researcher, you want to look at listed companies, you could look at carbon emissions and whether the company's carbon emissions strategies are working, whether there is an impact on the financial performance of the company as a result of reduction in carbon emissions. There's so much research to be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
You just look at it, that's a lot. But I was just focusing on the SME sector in this talk because this I find is the most urgent place to start work.
Yeah. Because maybe I'm still a little bit confused maybe for want to research, but maybe what is the topic that may be really interesting for the researcher to.
Okay. If you can get the SME who is happy to share their knowledge with you and share their data, that would be the good start.
Okay. So, thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tommy. Is there anyone else who wishes to ask a question? Perhaps while waiting for anyone else, I think I have a question for myself here, maybe, if you allow me. So I've been paying attention to what you have just delivered to all of us regarding ESG in SMEs and how the government in Malaysia has also fully supported even, to adapt this ESG thing for SMEs also. But it's quite the contrary for the case in Indonesia. So my question is, in your opinion, or if you have any suggestions, what kind of effective actions that can we, young academics, take to persuade the government to establish some kind of regulations or legal policies on the ESGs for SMEs? Because the government in Indonesia does not really create policies based on research, So how do we push them to, to at least try to adopt what Malaysia has been doing for raising awareness of ESG in SMEs or any other kinds of industries? Yeah.
Okay, that's a very important question, and every researcher has that question in mind when they embark on a research. What is your outcome? What's your impact?
Yeah.
How will your research affect policy directions? That's a question you ask. So if you are, but I have a very good impression of the Indonesian government in the sense that they're very proactive and they're doing things which are very sustainable. In fact, the fact that you are adopting or requiring sustainability assurance is already a very good uh, indication that you're moving faster than Malaysia in terms of so the focus on sustainability is there. So you need to find out what is missing. Why? What would help? How can you help the government instead of asking them to do things? If you did your research, did a comparison, and then you come back to tell the policymakers, hey, look, we should also do this. But first, your research must be robust, and you must make sure you don't miss any developments in Indonesia before you can make these recommendations. Because in Malaysia, because the government has got this Madani government framework, with sustainability is the core of the government's agenda. So it's climate change, zero carbon emissions, and just transition. There's so many new policies and blueprints that we are having. So we are very serious into this, and I think Indonesia is too. So, but I think you also have to fight the climate change activists, right? Who are saying you're cutting down the jungle, the forest. There's so much conversation going on, but I think you need to get the scientific facts, right? So that you can base your arguments in a very scientific manner to promote to the government. Because many things are happening at the same time. I remember the president had to defend cutting down the trees or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and so they were saying you're cutting down trees, so it's going to affect the carbon emissions, and where's all that. So first we need to understand the science-based targets, SBTI initiatives, and all that stuff, and see because it's very important for Indonesia and Malaysia, for ASEAN as a whole, to be on top of this situation, because we still have our forests. We need to protect biodiversity and all that.
Yes.
So we are always the target for investors to complain about, so it's very important for us to be on the conversation. We know what's happening and be enlightening the government on the policies. It's our role as academics.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Clear enough, ma'am. Very enlightening. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have another one in the chat box from Pasco Nova. Hello, Mrs. Susela. My question is, how do we implement the ESG in fishermen's business?
Oh, yeah, because
Yeah.
fishermen, way back, I can share with you in New Zealand, they are very conscious about sustainable fishing. So do you have sustainable fishing policies in Indonesia?
I'm
When
not
you can
sure.
do fishing, how big should the fish be before you harvest the fish and all that? Then you can read up. I know only a little bit, but I know there's this concept of sustainable fishing. So there are certain rules you have to follow. You can't just go and do the fishing as you like. That certain time, certain size. When the fish you catch is too small, you don't, you put it back. You don't kill because you got to make sure the source of the fish is there. Continuously growing. Sustainable fishing is one area you can probably look up the literature on sustainable fishing. And then you find some good practices which I can share with you. Like I spent a lot of time in New Zealand. They practice sustainable fishing and how it has helped them to get the market for the Japanese market for their fish. So you might want to read up that literature. Is that helpful, Pashkanova?
Yeah. Does that answer your question, Mr. Pascanova?
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
it's a miss. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. All right. Do we have another one? Do we have more questions? Mm, well, I think we had enough, yeah, ma'am. So I think we can conclude our session for today. And I believe everyone here has been very enlightened by your session today. So I think we will just end our session. Is that fine, ma'am?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take any questions, but if you have any other questions, you can always share with me through Nadya.
Sure. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Professor Susela. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally reached the end of today's activity. It has been an enlightening and thought-provoking session. Yeah. I would like to thank once more, Professor Susela, for your presentation, which has provided us with deep insights into the significance of sustainability accounting and its role in the business world, particularly in SMEs. So, as we conclude today's session, we have gained so many valuable insights into the growing importance of environmental, social, and governance factors in business, sustainability, the crucial role of SMEs in the global supply chain, and their responsibility in ESG compliance. And we have also explored the SEDG previously as a framework to assist the SMEs in implementing sustainable practices, along with practical strategies for SMEs to begin ESG reporting as well and enhance their business resilience also. So, Professor Susela has also highlighted opportunities for postgraduate research in sustainability accounting. But of course, undergraduate students who are attending this session also can also use the ideas for their research paper plans or ideas later. Yeah. And she also emphasized that sustainability accounting is not merely a trend, but a necessity for businesses to remain competitive and accountable in the global market. Yeah. So thank you once again, Professor Susela, for sharing your expertise in the field, and to all of the participants in this meeting for your engagement, and to the organizing committee for making this event a success. We hope this session has provided you with valuable knowledge and inspired further discussions on sustainability accounting. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future events. Have a great day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will return the spotlight to the MC. Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Ms. Nadya, for guiding the event very well. Thank you, Professor Dr. Susela Devi, for the insightful presentation. Next, we will enter documentation session. Please allow me to take 3 times capture on the third count for documentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn on the camera. Okay, the first capture. 1, 2, 3. Okay, second capture. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end of this enlightenment and informative seminar. I hope you all have enjoyed and benefit from the presentation and discussion from this international seminar. I would like to thank you once again to Professor Dr. Susela Devi for the valuable contribution and insightful presentation regarding integrating accounting in business sustainability. I also thank you for the moderator, Mrs. Nadya Eka Putri, and the committee for making this seminar a success. I would also like to thank our sponsor, organizer, volunteers, media partner, and all of you for your participation and support. As we conclude this seminar, I would like to leave you with a quote by Albert Einstein. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. I hope this seminar has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to learn more about the topic we have covered today. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors and hope to see you again in our next seminar. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Teguh, for your help.
You.
Thank you, ma'am.